Call this meeting to order at 7 p.m. This is a regular meeting of the governing body of the Borough of Bloomingdale. I'd ask everyone to please rise to salute our nation's flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mayor Dunleavy.
Here.
Council President Hudson.
Excused, personal.
Councilman Costa.
Here.
Councilman Del Ripa.
Also excused, personal matter.
Councilman D'Amato.
Here.
Councilman Sondermeyer.
Here.
Councilman Yasi.
Here. Also with us tonight, Borough Attorney Jeff Brezny. Brezny, I got it. I knew that too. Thank you, Jeff, for being here. And also our clerk in training, Brianna Calabro. Thank you for being here. There's no need for an early executive. I do have one non-agenda item, and that's an authorization for an October 30th, Monday evening, 7 p.m. special meeting to invite the residents we had back in, I believe, February regarding the remapping of the flood zones in the Van Dam flats and some of the Reeve area. So that'll be a non-agenda item, authorization for that meeting. At this time, I need well, actually, before we, time to motion for early public comment, please.
So moved. Second.
I got Sondermeyer and Costa. For agenda items, all in favor? Anyone wishing to speak to an agenda item, please come on up. Yep, an agenda item, sir.
Yes. Well.
Yeah, this early public comment is for matters on the agenda. Let me ask you, what is the matter?
It is a complaint.
You know what? Is everyone okay if we go out of order? Just
fine with it.
Everyone's fine. Come on up. Yeah. Being that the crowd is so big, I figured we'd let you go.
Forgive my voice. I'm a little bit under the weather tonight.
Just need your name and address for the record.
Timothy Jorgensen. I live at 1 Sussex Station, apartment 301, Sussex, New Jersey, 07461. It's pertaining to the matter of a dog recently euthanized. I believe it was 2 weeks ago on Monday, the last day of the council meeting of which I was here. I did not speak. The dog's name was Charlie. It was made aware to me by a Facebook post, of which I found out that the dog was to be put down on Wednesday, 2 days after the last council meeting. The dog, in fact, was put down on Friday before. The dog was relayed to be put down the following Wednesday, and for some unknown reason that I don't know, the dog was put down before that. So I was here with a couple of ladies who sat in the back, who had more knowledge about this than I did. I'm not a resident of Bloomingdale. I have some relationship with the shelter since I adopted a pet. December 23rd last year, a senior cat. Very old cat, surrendered, had conditions and everything else. The cat lasted not even a month. Fine. So I had been there. I met with the shelter supervisor. I believe her name is Samantha Forrest. I think I met briefly at that time with senior ACO Lisa Perry. And I had no problem. I took a tour of the facility. I went into the cat enclosure building, met the staffers, the volunteers there, did my thing. I'm an avid pet lover and owner. I have multiple cats. And like I said, it came to me via Facebook posting a few days before that about the dog that was to be put down. The dog was a longtime resident of the shelter. The dog was surrendered December 18, 2016. The dog was a senior dog and supposedly had some medical conditions of which I'm not aware of. But the dog was recently adopted in early September, but was returned some 10 or 11 days later because of existing behavioral issues. which I'm surprised about because the persons who adopted the dog was approved. They were made aware of the medical condition of the dog, which was nothing serious in my knowledge, had a special diet they needed. But I think it had a couple other minor things, maybe some arthritis and everything else. But the dog was surrendered because, the second time around, because of behavioral issues. The dog, just from what I could see, or having read about, was, I think, too much for the couple that adopted the dog. The couple lived in Ringwood. They had met the dog, been to the facility, they were approved by it, but then they did surrender the dog about 10 or 11 days because the dog ran away, jumped over a fence, was too much. So because of that, the dog was reassessed by the certified dog behavioral trainer with the shelter, who, after, I guess, her report, deemed the dog to be needing more behavioral issues and training and everything else. So I think that, in conjunction with the decision made by ACO Lisa Perry, the dog was determined that it was going to be put down. To my knowledge, on Sunday, a few days before the putting down the euthanasia date, some said women came to the facility with information looking to rescue the dog through a rescue organization. I think it's Scooby-Doo, which I don't know much about. There was some interaction there involving the police, where I guess a commotion was made and an incident report was generated. And so nothing got accomplished that day. If anything, they could not verify, couldn't comment whether the dog was still there or not on Sunday. This is, again, Sunday before the following Wednesday euthanasia date. So with that information and everything, I was concerned that I just wanted to get more information. I came here as moral support, but nothing was said. The dog was since put down. There was no biting incidents from this dog. The dog was a long-time resident of the shelter, but because it was a senior dog, it languished. But then it got approved through a supposedly ideal placement. I don't know how ideal it was, where I think this dog was just too much to be handled by the couple of Ringwood. So I'm curious as far as if this dog was finally to be put down on the following Wednesday after almost a year, or how many months, 11 months of being in a shelter, why the necessity to put the dog down on Friday when there didn't seem to be a rush to judgment, when in fact 2 or 3 women came with information looking to rescue the dog and were turned away, and it could not be verified whether the dog was there or not. And it was since determined only through open records request that the dog Charlie was put down that Friday before. I've got no skin in this game, other than I love all pets, and I think it's very sad for the dog that after almost being here for a year, and through the decision of the trainer and through the ACO Lisa Perry and through the veterinarian, Quantic Animal Hospital, that actually did the procedure later that day on Friday, the dog was put down. From what I gathered from the volunteers who interacted with this dog and walked this dog, this dog was playful, was not aggressive. The main thing this dog had, based on its behavior assessment, is that it growls when a hand is going towards, I guess, its food. And I guess for the 10 years prior of the condition this dog was in, maybe there was some food issues. I don't think this was necessarily a house pet. This was a dog left outside most of the time. And I think that owner back who surrendered it, who was the longtime owner back in December 18th when it was surrendered to the shelter, was And the reason for his, and I read his intake as far as surrendering the pet. He said he was moving, and I guess where he was going, he can take the pet. But I think there was also, having also read the vet records, it was too much, or he just didn't want to deal with the dog anymore. This was a pit-type dingo mix. It wasn't like a stereotypical pit bull dog and the reputation that they have. This was, again, from what I ascertained, a senior dog that liked to be walking and everything else. I just don't know why. The dog would have been put down days before its scheduled euthanasia date. I do understand that once an animal is surrendered to the borough, it becomes property of the borough, and decisions are made. But after almost a year, and after the dog was adopted by a couple out of Ringwood, a senior citizen couple, nothing against them per se, but I would surmise that they would have come to the facility, having met with the dog, taken the dog for a walk around the grounds there, gotten a sense of how strong this dog would have been, but this dog just, I guess, proved too much for them 10 or 11 days later. And I read that woman's letter back to the shelter, to ACO Lisa Perry at Samantha Forest, begrudgingly, sorrowfully surrendering the dog. And so she did, and she paid her surrender fee as that. So on top of her adoption fee, I think it was $150, surrender fee of $50, the dog was surrendered, and days later had another behavior test, and the dog decided to be totally unadoptable.
If I may, I got it. You made it clear your story here. What is your question?
Well, within a couple of days, 2 weeks ago, when I was here with those two ladies, they made the announcement that they wanted to have people come and show everything else. As you can see, I'm the only one here. For reasons of their own, they did not show up. I would have been more than happy just to have come here, had someone come more knowledge about this, to be a spectator. But my question is specifically, and I read also ACO Perry's letter for the reasoning behind the drama and everything around Charlie. My specific question is, why the necessity to put Charlie down days before? Why wasn't Charlie actually allowed to be adopted out that Sunday, but why couldn't the dog have waited to be put down on Wednesday? Why was the dog put down that Friday prior?
Right, okay. Obviously, there are questions specifically for our ACO, but I'm very familiar with what occurred here. First of all, the Wednesday date you referred to as the euthanasia date, where did that date come from? That was not a published shelter date. That date came from a volunteer who had no authority to state anything of such, okay? So that's irrelevant. The date you heard of being Wednesday, when it happened the Friday before, that's when it happened. And the volunteer was in no position to do a flyer, do anything to get the crowds going, stating a future date. Okay, that was inappropriate of the volunteer to do, number one. Number two, this entire council and borough has full faith in our staff, in our ACO staff, who is well respected throughout the state of New Jersey, and the decisions they make. You're here tonight talking about one incident that, upsets you, and I completely respect that. But when I hear stories like this, I never hear about the hundreds of dogs we successfully adopt and don't have to euthanize, cats and dogs, okay? So there is this example that upsets certain people, and that's fine. I respect that immensely. But it's a decision of our licensed animal control officer, based on the history she knew of the dog, based on the trainer's report, and it is also her policy and the policy of the borough that if that type of situation exists, she will not adopt that dog out. If she feels there's a risk of that dog, she's not going to adopt it to anyone for the concern of something may happen elsewhere. So the decision, which this borough stands behind, and you're not going to agree with it, of our ACO is supported by this governing body. I'd ask you to look at the success stories rather than just dwell on one, in your opinion, negative story. So I hear you loud and clear. I respect your opinion, but I have faith in our staff and in the decisions they make.
Can I comment on that?
Yeah, there's no reason to debate the issue, but you can comment on it.
I have no doubt throughout the many years of the history of the shelter that there have been success stories. One of which is my own, having adopted a cat out that would most likely have been euthanized after the 7-day hold back in December. And I understood full well that the condition of the cat, in its condition, its age, and its obviously medical history, the cat didn't last a month. That was fine. You're right. I was made aware of this via a Facebook post by a now formerly dismissed volunteer. And
I think by her own doing, but anyway, I don't think it's dismissed, but I'm not sure about that.
But I don't know, I didn't see anything drafted or public notice that the animal was to be euthanized on Wednesday. It was through that Facebook posting.
Which was inaccurate information.
Okay.
The dog was euthanized on the Friday, and the public statement went out on Monday, the following Monday.
She acknowledged that she was made aware of this internally by another volunteer, that the dog was to be put down on Wednesday, 2 days before that Friday posting.
But it doesn't, it's all hearsay. It doesn't matter. The boss made a decision that it was to be Friday. So forget about anything you read publicly about an extended time. It doesn't matter.
Then I guess it's also hearsay that she said that within probably an hour or two of her Facebook posting that she was contacted by the trainer, dog trainer, of which she said that she was berated for having put a negative light on the shelter and on her based on her Facebook post.
It's hearsay without anyone here to corroborate it, same as the story with the police showing up. There's two sides to every story. And I respect your side and your version of what you're hearing, but the borough is standing behind our animal control officer and what transpired.
Well, obviously the dog's been put down, so obviously it's a moot point. But because no one else is here amongst these ladies that seems so outraged by this, if anything, and again, this is all public information as far as my having been here and made this statement.
Sure.
I'm the one standing up for this dog, Charlie, that I deem should have been given another chance.
I respect your
And
opinion.
in 17 years of, I believe I read your letter, as far as there having been no complaints against this ACO, Lisa Perry, then I guess I'm the second one for having made at least a verbal complaint.
Well, and you didn't read my letter. It was that must have been an email in response to a Kinnelon resident. I responded to a few emails I received.
Correct.
Along those lines.
And what I got from that email response to that in the 17 years, there have been no complaints against her.
Correct.
And other than this, and without having any real knowledge of her, other than my experience back in December of last year, I have no real knowledge as far as the inner workings of the shelter itself. So, but I just find it to be a little bit, concerning that, again, just the timing.
Do you know how many dogs we successfully adopted out in the calendar year?
I briefly saw the stats going back, but I didn't.
What would that number be?
I briefly saw.
So if we successfully rehomed, found a home, found the owner, in excess of 60 dogs, and there was one euthanization because of the professionals' concern about behavior issues. I mean, I just...
Well, I'm very happy about there being 60 animals, dogs.
Correct.
Cats and everything else, but I'm looking at, again, even that just the loss of that one dog that could have been given another chance when there was no bite history.
And I respect your position. You've made it clear, your position. I've made my position clear. It's not going to change anything. You and I continue the debate. We can respectfully disagree on the decision made, and we support the decision that was made by our staff. So that's kind of where I'll leave it.
Well, thank you very much. I'm glad I got to make my statement.
I appreciate it. That's why we're here. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. You have a great night. Anyone else wishing to speak? Agenda item only? Seeing no one, motion to close? So moved. Sonnemeyer, second?
Yep.
It was Costa Sonnemeyer. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, reports. Jeff, do you have anything for us?
There's a pending litigation. It's called Linda Huntley versus Finbar, Chilcott, and Bloomingdale. Count 1 of the complaint was dismissed by order of summary judgment on July 24th, 2017 of this year. And recently, on October 13th, the remaining 2 counts were also dismissed by court order on consent. Our attorney is going to draft a case status memo on the litigation, and because we anticipate that the litigation may continue on appeal, there are no more comments now because we consider this matter still pending. But all the complaints so far in the Humboldt matter have been dismissed.
Thank you. Bree, you have anything for us?
No, tonight is late night voter registration, if anybody wants to.
Okay. Till 9 o'clock?
Yep.
Thank you. Any council member? Just a couple quick things. I mentioned the flood mapping meeting on the 30th. Preliminary maps are drawn. Now we'll have the residents review. They can see if they're in or out preliminarily, and then we submit for approval like we did on Oakwood. It's looking like approximately 50-plus homes could come out. So on the 30th, we'll have that meeting. Community rating system. I just went through the reevaluation of our flood rating system, and we had a 10% success rate in the discount for residents. Well, we've achieved with certain requirements, public notification, et cetera, up to 20%. So we've just filed for that. So now our residents will be receiving a 20% discount on their flood insurance. Reminder, tomorrow, Thursday, 7 p.m., Mayor's Walk, Walter T. Bergen. This past weekend, the Stigma Free group, along with the high school DECA program, had a color run for suicide awareness. Over 190 racers, walkers were involved, and the young high school senior, Caitlin Monahan, who's a Bloomingdale resident, raised approximately $5,000 for Society to Prevent Teenage Suicide. So it was a great day. John had come and well attended, particularly by the student body, so I was glad to see that. Paving, we're pretty much done with what was planned for. We do have a couple little things to do through town. One of them is Clark Street, one of them is Maple Street, and then the big one is Glenwald Ave, Van Dam, which we'll be awarding tonight for that DOT project. That's all I have this time. Anything else? Okay, I now have a motion to approve the consent agenda, and that is including resolutions 10.9 through 16. Who makes that motion?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Pending items. Item A is introduction of ordinance 21, 2017, the renewal of our Cablevision franchise renewal. Second final reading will be, let's see, November 21st for second and final. Who moves to introduce by title?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Other than we had a meeting with Cablevision. Renewal's kind of cut and dry. We do have free services for schools, free internet for library, municipal building, and we added the senior center we got out of that, and free TV for any municipal building. So things are good. We just found out we were paying for TV in a couple buildings we should have not have been for just 2 years or so, so we're working that credit out with them. So Jeff was a big help in that meeting. Jeff and Fred will review the ordinance now that's introduced and suggest any changes if needed. Okay? So can I have a roll call on that introduction by title, please?
Kamada?
Yes.
Conrad?
Yes.
Yazdi?
Yes.
Spastick?
Yes.
Do you have anything to introduce by title? I'll read it.
To read the title.
Yeah, you have to introduce by title, so now you just read it. Just simply an ordinance to renew Cablevision. That's all. Yeah. Yeah. Just the title.
Okay. An ordinance granting municipal consent for the operation of a cable television system within the borough of Bloomingdale, New Jersey to CSC TKR LLC Cablevision of Raritan Valley. And then I'll just read the question.
No, we're good. That's fine. Be introduced by title, and second and final will be November 21st. Thanks, Bree. The next item is second and final reading for ordinance 20, 2017, special assessment for the extension of a sewer system for 24 Van Dam. Can I have a public notice statement, please, on that one?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this ordinance was posted in the municipal building, published in the Herald News. Copies are made available to the public so that a motion may be made that will be read by title.
And who makes that motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Now you read that title. An ordinance.
An ordinance of the Borough Council of the Borough of Bloomingdale, County of Passaic, and State of New Jersey, authorizing a special assessment for the extension of the municipal sewer system to the property located at 24 Van Dam Avenue.
Thank you. A motion.
I just have something to add.
Yeah.
I would ask that an amendment be made of this ordinance to reflect an additional cost of interest from $1,119.38 to $1,364.51.
I thought that was already amended.
If that's the amended one.
I have 1364.51.
That is correct.
Yeah, okay, right, because we picked that up, Finance picked that up, and we made that amendment. Thank you, Jeff.
Okay.
Okay, do I have a motion for open public hearing?
So moved.
Yazdi,
Second?
Sandemeyer, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to speak to 2017? Seeing no one, motion to close.
So moved.
Sandemeyer,
Second.
Costa, and who moves to adopt?
So moved.
Second. Same. Roll call, please.
Sandemeyer,
Yes.
Yazdi,
Yes.
Costa,
Yes.
Tomato.
Yes.
New business. You good?
Yeah.
I need a motion to adopt Resolution 10.17, payment of the bills. Who makes that motion?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion?
I have just two questions.
Yeah.
On page 12, I might answer the question myself. There's sod. One's for the Walty Burge drainage, and the other one is under the maintenance project. Is that maintenance project, is that the DeLazier? Is
Yes.
that Wise
Was it
Rose?
3,400? I don't have that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the.
Okay. And then on page 21, there was a repair to the backhoe. We use Rose Fund money. Any reason why we'd use?
I'd have to check on that, Councilman. I honestly don't know off the top of my head, other than if it
Okay.
happened during a recreation, project. So could have been on the Walter T. Bergen project. So I'll confirm and let you know that. Anything else? Anyone else? Can I have a roll call, please?
Sandemeyer,
Yes.
Yazdi,
Yes.
Costa,
Yes.
Tomato.
Yes.
Next, I need a motion for 1710.18, acknowledging receipt of the best practice inventory. Who makes that motion?
So moved. Second.
Tomato, Yazdi. Any discussion, other than we've qualified for answering the questions about how we operate, the various questions from finance, primarily, obviously, financial related, to maximize our state aid. We received the qualified points to do so. Can I have a roll call, please?
Sandemeyer,
Yes.
Yazdi,
Yes.
Costa,
Yes.
Tomato.
Yes.
The next item, I need a motion for Resolution 10.19. This is awarding the contract to Mike Fitzpatrick and Son for Van Dam Avenue improvements. Who makes that motion?
So moved.
Second.
Did you get that? Whomever you got. All in, I'm sorry, any discussion? The amount is $224,685, which was low bid out of many that were received. Any further comments? Roll call, please.
Yazdi,
Yes.
Costa,
Yes.
Tomato.
Yes.
Sandemeyer.
Yes.
The next item, I need a motion for 10.20, authorizing contract with Detroit Salt Company LLC for salt through the county co-op. Who makes that motion?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Costa,
Yes.
Tomato,
Yes.
Sandemeyer,
Yes.
Yazdi.
There was one item on non-agenda business. I need a motion to authorize a special meeting October 30th, Monday evening, 7 p.m. here at the Chambers for the flood study Van Dam area. Who makes that motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Just a
Aye.
motion on that. It's fine. No resolution. Good. I need now a motion to open late public comment.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to speak? Come on up. Yes, sir. Even though we know it, you got to state your name and address for the record.
Oh, okay. Yes, my name is Carlo Ledoux. I live at 81 Starlight Road. I just want to take this opportunity to stress my gratitude. As you know, 3 weeks ago, there was a UPS trailer parked right in front of the building. And this is the effort to help my people in Puerto Rico. I've been living in town for 21 years, and I'm a member of the Bloomingdale Borough for 18. I approached some people from my department, and their chief and councilman, John D'Amato, their chief, my cousin, and ex-chief, Mark Lyon. And together, they came up with an idea, and we all worked together. I believe John went to the mayor. And I would like to say thank you for letting the ball start rolling. A lot of people got involved, and for a small community like Bloomingdale, we got 7 pallets in that trailer in 5 days. And we only went for 5 items, that's it. And we got 7 pallets, and then I want to say thank you to you, John. I cannot express every single day this man was in that trailer. Even the last day, 8 o'clock at night, he parked his own personal car with the lights on, and he was inside that trailer working because I hurt my back. I couldn't do nothing. Also, I want to say thank you to the entire Bloomingdale Fire Department, also to the police department, especially Chief Joe Gravel. I believe he did the system reverse call.
Just to get it out there. Yeah.
So the work to go out there, also UPS, my people, did their logistics for transporting all this equipment. And also, my cousin donated a lot of money, and we managed to buy a whole pallet, 54 boxes. That's a lot of money. And it shows when a community, a small community like Bloomingdale, go out and help strangers. Because I guarantee a lot of people here don't know people of Puerto Rico. But they're Americans too. They are people. And I'm very proud to say and honored to be here tonight. Praise God for that, because we did it. And only 5 items. And John D'Amato's son, Michael, called me too. And the PVA from the Sheriff's Department, last Friday, we put 27 pallets in a trailer, also Puerto Rico. It shows who we are as an American. And I cannot be more proud of our community. Yes, I was born here in the United States. I grew up in Puerto Rico. I still got family in Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico got completely devastated. But I know I cannot repay you guys and the community. I'm so grateful for the community. But I know there's a God that He will take care of all of us. And so I'm very proud.
Well, I mean, on behalf of the borough, we thank you for coming up with the idea to do it. We thank John for his hard work and all the people you stated. But from the bottom of our heart, we thank you for what you did. And our thoughts and prayers go with you and your family and everyone in Puerto Rico. So thank you for making us proud and doing what you did.
And I'm here too because I know that some people might not have internet, might not have Facebook. And I want them to know that yes, we do care, and we wanted to say thank you.
Yeah. No, again, John reported it to the governing body meetings, our last meeting, how it was going, and it,
It was really amazing. We estimated this, we went and we got the stuff that your cousin, and we estimated we raised over $7,000 worth of material to send over there in 5 days. It's amazing.
It was great. I know. I mean, during the whole day, people were coming in, right? Bree, you saw people coming in. These chambers were filled.
When we took the truck to New York, when I come back, they were more south, so I took it to another place in my own department.
Well, like I said, our thoughts and prayers are with
Awesome.
all the U.S. citizens in Puerto Rico because it's certainly a tragedy they suffered. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thanks, Carlos.
Anyone else wishing to speak? Please come on up.
Linda Huntley, 86 Van Dam. The lawsuit will be appealed, just to let you know. And also, I just wanted to know, let people be aware that I was really very disappointed in the borough attorney suggesting that she'll come and buy my house so that the lawsuit could be settled. I thought that was an insult, and I just think it was terrible for him to even suggest that, since the lawsuit was not just for me, first of all, it was for a number of residents that belong to the Community Safe Federal Hill, and to offer something like that is a slap in the face. That's all.
Anyone else? Seeing no one, motion to close.
So move.
All in favor?
Aye.
There is no late executive session this evening. Governing body schedule, first, as Bree mentioned, today, 9 o'clock, register to vote. Work session meeting, November 1st, it's at 8 a.m. This is just a meeting to do transfers. But it is a regularly scheduled meeting, because it most likely will just be transfers on that agenda. And then November 21st, 7 p.m. will be the regular meeting for November. Again, everyone, thank you for being here. Jeff, thank you. Bree, first solo one, did great.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor? Thank you.
You were very stern when you said our names, just like D'Amato, Sean D'Amato. You were very stern.
What was that?
She was very stern when she said our names, the voters.
Oh, yeah.
Sean D'Amato.